Welcome into Coach and Bro, presented by Afterburn, in theaters, September 19th.
And our BTT Studios takeover continues. We are so busy. That I didn't even have a chance in between shows to change my background. That's how dialed in we are to what we're doing here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Welcome in, everybody, to the Coach and Bro Show. We tackle all of the biggest topics in the world of pro wrestling, according to us. If you're looking for a breakdown of the segment by segment from Raw or SmackDown, you've come to the wrong show. But you want big time stuff with two guys that spent over 20 years combined inside of the WWE, you've come to the right place. Now, if you happen to be watching on YouTube, you can also become a premium member. We do watch-alongs, all kinds of fun things at BTT Studios. But also hit that like button on your way in. It really helps the show grow. Now, I'm the coach part of this show. There is the bro part of this show, and he is the one and only from russosbrand.com, my man Vince Russo. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Coach. I know it's a big day for you and your crew over there. Kickoff Thursday night football tonight. Big day for BTT.
Oh, man. Thank you, man. It's awesome. And I was thinking about where we've been and where we've gotten to, and I kind of got my feels a little bit this morning. I'm going to be honest with you because you and I started a year ago. Coaching Company started in January. So we're basically less than a year in, and we already have 2 straight hours every Thursday right here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live and Amazon Prime Video. It's pretty cool because I think so many times we get locked in this bubble and we forget, I think, to sometimes take our own flowers. You know what I mean? And today's one of those days.
Yeah, well, I mean, Coach, again, I always thank you for this opportunity because you created this opportunity for me, and I am very, very thankful. But make no bones about it, Coach. Does anybody work harder than you? And if they do, show me them. Show me them, Coach.
Well, I would love to, but we don't show Producer Man's face on the show. Because I promise you, he works a lot harder than I do.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
So our numbers are growing every single week. So I know there's new people checking us out. So I want to say welcome to all of you that are new. We absolutely love you. And for you OGs that are here every single show, we obviously love you as well. So Vince, we got to start with this because we have called the WWE a lot of things when it comes to some of the moves that they make. Petty machete, something like that. However, they have forced the AEW brass, Tony Khan, to look at what is going on September 20th, and they have made a gigantic decision to move the entire start of the show. And this may not be a big deal to a lot of people. I think this is a huge deal. 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, live from Toronto on September 20th. So now it'll be AEW in the afternoon, and it'll be WrestlePalooza from Indianapolis in the evening. How big of a deal is this to you?
I think it's a huge deal. And listen, man, we've got to go back to the beginning, Coach. We really do. And listen, a lot of people know, man, I usually side with Tony because I find Tony Khan very entertaining. I don't know what I would do without Tony Khan in the wrestling business. That's a shoot. But, Coach, we have to go back now. It's been quite a while, but you guys can find this on the old YouTube where, Tony got a little chip on his shoulder and he said, and I quote, "There's only room for one Khan in wrestling." Coach, that triggered everything. And listen, Coach and I, we try to give you life lessons on this show.
Correct.
I'm going to give you one right here. Think before you open your mouth. Because all the counter programming and everything began with Nick Khan. There's only room for one Khan in professional wrestling.
It's so funny how many times we're reminded of kind of where Tony Khan has come from and where he is right now. Do you know, I get up every morning at 5 a.m. my time, and I do a little bit of a workout, like for like 30 minutes, just stretching, just to get the blood pumping, for my day. And then I'll do my hardcore lifting later in the day. This morning, as I'm getting up, do you know what video came across my phone? They'll be like, hey, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, the CM Punk Chicago video where he was Hangman Adam Page, and you had Tony Khan sitting there going, no, my fault. No, Tony, sit there. No, it was my fault. Tony, it's not your fault. And I'm sitting there going, and what do we always say here? WWVD. What would Vince do? Can you imagine a talent sitting there next to Tony Khan? I don't care if it's CM Punk, who it is, and going, Vince, stop. I got this. I still can't believe how the whole thing is run, and the fact that, he gets so bothered by little things like this instead of blinders on, just do what you're going to do. And I actually thought with this decision, it was a very, very smart one because, Vince, every other company has killed pay-per-view. But now Tony Khan is also getting killed because they're bringing their pay-per-view back to HBO Max for $39.99, starting with this particular pay-per-view. And I don't know if it's going to be a success or not, but he's going against the grain, and I don't know how many people actually pay for this. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know, Coach. It's again, when Tony's up there making the comment, there's only room for one con in professional wrestling. What he's looking at is his checkbook.
Correct.
He's not looking at the history of the WWE, the connections, how they know the game, the best production, years and years and years. He's not looking at that part of it, and that's the part of it that's going to bite you, in the rear end, Coach. And I got to tell you, man, to me, you are moving back an event now 5 or 6 hours earlier.
Yep.
Coach, we know, especially with AEW, people come to these events from all over the world.
That's what I'm talking about.
They may be landing at 3 o'clock. They may be landing at 5 o'clock. You've given them, 18 days notice after they've probably made these travel plans 3 to 6 months ago?
It's something they should have done a month ago.
Yeah.
Right when it happened, you do it then.
Yes.
Because, and there's always going to be the section of fans like, oh, no, this is not. With the price of tickets and the price of travel, there's a very real possibility that Vince is right, that a lot of people were going to fly in, land the day of, go to the show, get one hotel night, and then fly out on Sunday morning. That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And now what do you do if you did land at 3:30 or 4? Do you think they'll do anything for these people? Because it's always fan first. It's got to be fan first. And this one's not about the fans, but they're going to say it is, Vince, because the reason they're moving it is to get more people to watch it, hence get more people to pay for the pay-per-view. And I had one person on Twitter say, Coach, essentially now WWE is also in the pay-per-view business. And I thought to myself, you know what? This guy's right. Because you got to pay $30 to watch WrestlePalooza, $39 to watch, All Out, I believe is what it's called. Yeah. So essentially, they're both in the pay-per-view game. It's just different at ESPN.
Yeah, Coach, there's just so much money, exchanging, hands these days. I mean, I've lost track of what's on what and how much is that going to cost me to watch. It became overbearing for me, and I'm in the industry.
We had yesterday on Off the Ropes on Sirius, we had a lot of people to call in because now they're starting to associate me. It's almost like you and I are, I don't know what the word it is, but we're like the voices of the voiceless. And I think that's one of the wrestlers I think that CM Punk calls himself that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out there that are unhappy. And there's a lot of people out there that are, to be honest, sad. And they're upset because now they can't go to these events. And now you're going to have to pay $40. Well, that's the world you and I grew up in. Pay-per-view was the norm. But pay-per-view was the norm, Vince, before apps. You didn't have to pay all this money for apps. So now I think Tony Khan and AEW has to really think about what they're going to do. I actually had a meeting a few months ago with this company that wants to kind of change the game with pay-per-view. And they want to do events like $4.99, $5.99, $6.99, which may sound minimal, but there's a lot of companies around the world that are starting to do that. They're doing small pay-per-views and they're not making tons of money, but Vince, they're making money.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to do the show anyway, how about make it $19.99 or $9.99? But $39.99 to me is just saying, you know what? I don't think that many people are going to pay for this because of everything else that's going on around it. Do you?
Yeah, Coach, what's interesting is if you go back 23 years, that's how TNA started. TNA started as a weekly pay-per-view. I believe we were charging $9.99 a show, but that's how it started 23 years ago. And it's just something to really hear that come, full circle 25 years later. That's very, very interesting.
The other part of this, too, is there's a lot of layers to all this money spending. I'm sure you saw this, Vince, because I know that you spend all your time on social media and YouTube. That's just what you do. Did you see the Stephanie McMahon situation when it comes to all this pay-per-view stuff?
The VPN situation?
The VPN stuff, yes.
Yeah, we had a good time with that, yes.
Yeah, it's gotten bigger over the course of the last 3 days. There's a lot of pushback now that it's out there because there's a lot of videos that are they look real, but the mouth really isn't. It's basically AI is what happens.
Yeah.
And I thought it was AI when I first saw the video, but it's real. And now think about this. You've got AEW charging the pay-per-view. You've got ESPN charging the $30. Then you got Stephanie McMahon over here saying, hey, why are you guys watching commercials? Why are you guys doing this? Take yourself out of the United States. Vince, ESPN is not in England. ESPN is not even in Canada. So you add a layer to all of this money stuff. At some point, Vince, I love what you always say. How many masters can you serve?
Coach, I'm going to say this again. And Coach, I never bring up numbers. I really don't because it's honestly, it's not even worth it anymore. But SmackDown doing 1.1 million viewers this past Friday.
Really?
I mean,
really?
I'm sorry. Call me crazy. If I am a USA Network executive and I am looking at 1.1 million viewers, Coach, come on. This is why I say, man, it's just a matter of time where serving all the masters is going to catch up with them.
At some point, and this is the one thing, say what you want. Because we take the nonsense out with Vince McMahon. We talk about him from a business perspective. And Vince, he never would have allowed this.
No.
He never would have allowed 6 different places or whatever they're doing. And also, I don't want to fault the networks. They're going after what is popular. And they're going after live events.
Right.
Live events are everything to advertisers and to streaming services.
Yes.
They just are. But when you have to now have a great lineup on Raw for Netflix, a great lineup on SmackDown because of USA. Then you got the PLE starting right now in September on ESPN. You don't think they want the best guys? The best girls? Of course they do. Of course they do. Now, speaking of that, coming up on the other side, did you guys see what WWE essentially did to themselves? Oh my goodness. Wait until you see this. Coming up September 20th, who's going to be at WrestlePalooza? Well, they may have given it away without even knowing it. Also, later at the bottom of the hour, we talked about Vince's 80th birthday party recently in New York City. But guess who was sitting at his table? But also who was not sitting at his table. We continue on. Damn it, do we love doing the show every single Thursday, and we thank you for joining us. This is the Coach and Bro Show, live, presented by Afterburn on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Come on back after the break. All right, we continue on our YouTube channel. We do our super stickers, $5 or more we read, and then when the show is over on Stadium, we'll do the rest of them we don't get to. First one, Coach and Bro, the most over tag team in the business. You're damn right we are. What are your thoughts on Stephanie McMahon telling us we can avoid $30 by using a VPN? And that's the whole reason I just brought it up, Vince. I don't even think she realizes why this is a big deal. Because if she did, as a McMahon and a person who runs the company, she should know better. The marketing team should know better.
Yeah, but again, Coach, what I said in one of our earlier shows is they're charging fans for so much and so many things. I kind of feel like this was an opportunity to get over with the fans by saying, listen, man, we know we're asking for a lot of money, but you could do this over here. And as I said, Coach, because the deal is already made with ESPN, the check's already been cashed. So now it's kind of like we're playing two ends against the middle. But that's why I asked you the question about ESPN and how they were going to react to this.
Yeah, they tend to not make everything public. They really do. What does producer man say? You still have to buy a VPN, so basically sending money that way versus ESPN. So yeah, you have to pay for VPN, but it allows you to kind of circumvent the system, so to speak. All right, one more we got to get to right now. Are you guys ever planning on meeting in person at some point and doing a show together? That would be epic. Best wrestling podcast, bar none, 100. We do know we're the best, but thank you for telling us. Vince, that's our next step. I mean, we're only a year old.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing a live show in person?
That would be such a blast. I mean, that would be a lot of fun. I'd love doing that.
For the Coach and Bro Tour, I know a guy. His name's Chris Van Vliet, one of my best friends in the wrestling business anyway. And he had recently started doing his own tours around the big show. So I'm going to give him a call because I have a feeling that's what you and I need to be doing.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
Oh, it'd be awesome. Oh, we would sell out like that. Like that, I say. All right, we're back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the Coach and Bro Show live here on Stadium. Bally Sports Live. We're here every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, we have a big surprise for my co-host, my partner, my friend. Can I see Mr. Vince Russo, please? Producer man. Now, Vince, as you know, we are tirelessly working here in the BTT Studios headquarters to support, to bring to light, to elevate different things that we're becoming most known for. So I wanted to unveil to you and to the good people watching right now on Stadium and on YouTube and on social media our very first merch item on our merch store.
Wow.
Look at
unbelievable. Caps too? Mamby caps.
It had to be caps.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Look at that. Mamby Pamby. That's what this show's built on, are the Mamby Pambys. They have no place here. How cool is that? How cool
I
is that,
love
man?
it. I love it. Very, very nice. And where can they get this now, Coach?
Well, all they do is scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the merch store. It's as easy as that.
Love it.
Also, I'll be honest. I'm always honest here. We were so busy. We have a winner that we've got to get to, but we're going to figure out, Vince, and I have the names for Monday's show, but every single week, every single show, for super stickers that are larger than $10, you get your name into a drawing, or we have this cool thing where you can spin the circle live on the show, and they're going to get a free Coach and Bro, Coach and Company, whatever they want, free piece of merchandise from the store. How cool is that?
Spin the wheel, make the deal, so to speak.
That's right. Spin the wheel, make the deal. So we don't have it ready yet, but we're going to be doing it every single show. Just have patience with us.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome. Our social media person's watching the show. I just got the link. I will tweet the link out after the show as well, where you can get your Mamby Pamby. So we'll have the link, but also the QR code. All right, Vince, speaking of BTT Studios shop.com, the reason I held it for right now is because at WWEshop.com, which we are an affiliate, you can buy all your merchandise through us as well. They stepped in it, Vince. They have stepped in it. So, as we know, CM Punk, Becky Lynch is now with the Vision, with Seth Rollins, and they're doing all of these little Easter eggs out there saying, okay, the natural thing as he's slapping CM Punk doesn't hit her back. He's got a wife, I think they're married, AJ Lee. So they're teasing it, Vince, and this is why I love doing the show with you, to get your writer's perspective. And so a wrestling YouTuber sent a question on Twitter to WWE. Hey, where can I get my AJ Lee merchandise so I can wear it to SmackDown on Friday to support? Then they get back, Vince, this. Hey there. Of course, we wouldn't expect that. With AJ Lee's return to the ring, we are looking to have some fire gear, hopefully in time for WrestlePalooza. So, Vince, I'm quite sure this was not an individual. It probably was AI generated. Regardless, gigantic mistake by the WWE. What do you make of this?
I disagree with you, Coach. I disagree with you.
Tell me.
I think it is crystal clear that Stephanie McMahon is now working for the merch department at WWE. I think that came from Stephanie. Crystal clear, right there. Come on, Coach.
You are too much. Tell me why.
Well, she did the VPN thing, and now she's telling guys, hey, listen, man, we haven't announced it yet. You haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to be the first to tell you. Come on, man. It's got Stephanie written all over it, Coach.
It does feel that way.
Yes.
It does feel that way. I think, Vince, it's pretty clear it was AI that is just, I'm sure it could have been any talent, and they would have been like, okay, but Vince, they were doing in my opinion, such a good job of setting us up for a gigantic reaction on Friday on SmackDown. And this right here just kind of throws a kink in the works.
You know, Coach, you and I keep saying this, but I just keep going back to, does anything matter anymore, Coach? Coach, I saw a clip. Of after Paris went off the air. Okay. Now, Coach, you and I both know, man, when the show goes off the air and they're just playing to the house, there would be a lot of what Pat Patterson would call ha-ha.
Yes.
But what the ha-ha consisted of during my time was Austin would usually end the show. The show is over. The ha-ha is we're feeding Austin everybody to hit a stunner on.
I love that.
Yeah, that's the ha-ha. That's the ha-ha part. Somebody comes in, he makes believe he's drinking a beer with them, he hits them with the stuff. That's the ha-ha.
Yes.
Bro, I'm watching footage that was on YouTube right after the show, and Rhea Ripley goes to the ring in street clothes, no makeup, clowning with LA Knight. Literally, they were dancing and clowning, and I'm like, is this mommy on top, or is this Jim Carrey? What are we doing here? But then, Coach, I keep going back to this. None of this matters anymore. This fan base is eating it up, and they're going to pay money regardless of what they do and don't do. So none of this matters.
See, I hate that you say that, but I have a tendency to agree with you. We're big details guy. And I do see somebody in the chat, and you're so off base, and I'm not going to call the person out, but way off base. We're here to give our opinion and give our feedback. There's no part of me or Vince that want to go back to WWE. There's no part of me or Vince that are bitter. We're just telling you what we see and what we experience because we are there at the hottest time ever. And I don't want to hear about financials. Financials are what they are. But don't tell me this is a more popular time than the Attitude Era, because it's not. They had 25 guys that could be in the main event at WrestleMania during our time. Period, point blank, end of story. But all the details matter. And what you talked about is what we always did, and I was part of that, where I'd go out and do the beer with Stone Cold and all that kind of stuff. And I understand they're in international territory and they want to bring Rhea out because I don't think she was really a part of the show.
She was.
So that was always also a way to get a star that wasn't written into the show for the house to still see them. whoever that was. And I think right now they are struggling to figure out, are we going to be a show or are we going to be what TKO wants us to be? That is strictly when we're on TV, that's what we are. Because that tells me that's what they're doing. And that TKO doesn't care about that kind of stuff because all they care about is what's on the show.
Yeah, I understand that, but I will say this, and call me old school, call me whatever you want. I still believe talent should be very protective of their characters. You talk
No
about
question.
you talk about what would Vince do. Can you imagine if Rhea Ripley were this character on TV, and then when the show went off the air, she went out there and did that with Vince sitting at Gorilla? She would have been first of all, she wouldn't have even thought about it. Second of all, she would have been fired on the spot. Because now you expect us to buy into this person, and now you're going out in front of 30,000 people and however many million are going to watch on YouTube, and you're the girl next door clowning? I don't understand that, Coach.
See, I think that's the thing that has changed in the last 15 to 20 years is that when we used to do it, we didn't even know what social media was because it didn't exist. Cell phones were, late 90s into the 2000s. They were just evolving into what they are now. And now, to me, you've got to be on 24/7. And that's why I always agree with you when it comes to the character and protecting it. Because to me, the beauty of the wrestling business, and this will never change, and I don't care how many Gen Z wrestling fans there are, it's always about the surprise, the don't pull the curtain back so that you can get that genuine reaction when a music hits, a video hits, or somebody comes out that you're not expecting. And I'm so tired of people not understanding that.
Yeah.
But talent understands it. They get it, most of them, but the new talent doesn't give a shit. And that, to me, is a problem that the longer we go, and I'm so tired of hearing about the money. I really, really am.
Yeah.
It's about the money follows the shows, right, Vince? It follows the creative. And if this keeps going this way, yeah, they've got a 10-year deal. But, Vince, they've got a lot of deals with other places that are much shorter than that.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to become an issue.
Yeah, Coach, here's the thing, man. You are a sports guy through and through. I am a sports guy. Coach, we've seen every sport evolve. I remember when they had no shot clock in college basketball. I remember before there was a 3-point arc. I remember all that
That's
stuff.
right.
So we've seen sports, obviously baseball the last couple of years. We've seen sports evolve, but here's the difference. They didn't screw with the foundation. They left the foundation strong and they evolved on the outside. Wrestling changed the foundation, and the foundation was simple: heel, babyface, conflict. Real simple. You've changed the foundation. When you change the foundation, Coach, then you change the entire game.
I don't know why that is so hard to understand. I really, really don't. Because every single big organization, sports, whatever, as you just alluded to, that is the reason the game is the way that it is. It's popular the way that it is because of the foundation of how you play it. Yeah, athletes may get bigger, stronger, faster, better looking, whatever it is, but you never screw with the foundation of what we're doing. And that's why sometimes when you get so far away from the foundation, you appear lost. And I think when you're bringing in these young kids and creative and they're trying to write, they're so scared that they don't get back to the foundation of what we're doing on these shows. Babyface, heel, conflict. And if they're really strong characters, guess what? It's a really good conflict. And that's 101. That's 101. All right. Coming up on the other side, we're about to have, you know how fast this show goes, Vince?
Unbelievable. I know it's
crazy. I just love it so much. The chat is popping. You guys are amazing. Hit the like button if you haven't done that yet, if you're watching on YouTube. On the other side, the fallout continues from Vince McMahon's 80th birthday party. Yes, drama. Who was seated at his table? Who wasn't? It might surprise you. The Coach and Bro Show, presented by Afterburn, live right here on Stadia. All right, we continue, you degenerates. We've got another super sticker we got to get to. Remember, we'll put them all up after the show. If you want to have yours read, at least $5. If you want to be a part of a drawing for a free brand new peach of merch, maybe a mamby-pamby shirt, it's got to be $10 or more. All right, Vince, WM Perspective says the last time wrestling was in the boom period was during the Monday Night Wars. This is not the case in present day 2025.
You
Because
know,
you had two shows, right?
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, Coach, again, you said it earlier in the show a couple of times. All they keep doing is going back to the money. No, bro, it's two different things. When you're charging $10,000 for a ticket, you're going to make a lot of money. That has nothing to do with poor creative.
I had somebody say, I get a lot of DMs. And I got a DM the other day from a guy who sent in, he paid well over $1,000. And part of the package was a meet and greet with two superstars, all these things. Vince, they sent like Penta and somebody else. And he was like, Coach, this is what I got. And I get them all the time now because they watch the show and they understand we fight for them. Yes. And he was like, I spent well over $1,000 on this package, and this is what I got. It's so obscene what they're doing right now when it comes to the dollars and cents that it drives me bonkers. It really, really does, because that's also at the core of this business is families and taking your whole family. Right now, it's $4 or $5 grand. You want a Friday night out of SmackDown? See John Cena's last SmackDown? $2,300 a ticket.
It's insanity.
It's insanity. But they do not care. Hey, guys, I'm trying to understand this push for Sami Zayn. Don't get Vince going with only 20 seconds left in the break. Don't bring up Sami Zayn. Oh, no. We'll talk about it after the show. We'll address this after the show. Or maybe we'll address it right now. Who knows? Don't get Vince started on Sami Zayn live here on Stadium. You don't want to do it. Don't do it. We're back live in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Coach and Bro, presented by Afterburn, in theaters September 19th.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Coach and Bro on the opening day of the NFL season. The Cowboys and the Eagles tonight from the city of brotherly love, the home of ECW, and also the home of AEW Dynamite. Last week or the week before, something like that. Now we continue on. We're across the bottom of the hour here live on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. And Vince, it shouldn't be this way, but it still is when certain people in the business have to move in a certain way because of who they associate with or who they don't associate with. So we've talked about the 80th birthday party that Vince had recently in New York City at Gotham Hall. And it was a big deal. There was a lot of people there. There's a lot of WWE people there. And there was a lot of people there that I was surprised that they went there. But anybody can do what they want to do. I said I would probably go. I don't know if you would go if you were invited. I don't know. I can't speak for you. Would you go if you got invited?
At this point in time, it's been so long since I worked for him. I don't think so.
Okay. Very fair. So Teddy Long was recently on a podcast, and he was asked about the birthday party. And he said that he went to sit down at a table, and somebody came up to him and said, no, you're sitting at Vince McMahon's table. And the only two talent that were at Vince McMahon's table were John Cena and Teddy Long. So this interview and this quote is basically going viral because The Undertaker was at the birthday party with his wife, Michelle McCool. And we all know that the person that Vince has loved the most over the years is The Undertaker and Michelle McCool. What do you make of the seating arrangement at this birthday party, Vince?
Yeah, it's really interesting because when you tell me that, I mean, my God, the first person I'm thinking of that not is only sitting next to him, but perhaps on his lap would be Bruce Pritchard. But that's interesting because Bruce, Taker, still active within the WWE. Now, you can say Cena is as well, but is TKO going to punish Cena? Is anybody going to see? John Cena is untouchable right now.
Correct.
You know, Taker, an employee, Bruce, an employee, because, Coach, if anybody should have been sitting at that head table, it should have been Pritchard.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. He has been the guy, and we have both known Bruce a long time. I've had good times with Bruce. I've had run-ins with Bruce. Yep. But at his core, he is a loyal guy.
Yeah.
And he's a loyal Vince guy. And we have set back, and you and I have really kind of evaluated how everybody has moved since Vince got pushed out of the WWE. And if you're TKO, and sometimes you make things bigger than what they are. Sometimes you think, wow, the wrestling fan base is going to react this way if these people associate with him. Vince, we saw it at the Super Bowl. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
They're over the story. They're done with it. Yeah, the court case is still going, but wrestling fans, they've moved on. He showed up at a Knicks game. Nobody cared. They even put his name up on the big screen at Madison Square Garden. Nobody cared.
Well,
so I wonder if TKO cares.
That's the question right there, Coach. Exactly. I wonder if TKO cares. And again, we're talking about a lot of money. We're talking about a lot of shareholders. That is the question. What's your take? Do you think they would care?
Unfortunately, I do. I do. I have a lot of private conversations with people. I had one with a significant person who used to work at the company on, what's today, Thursday, on Tuesday. Spoke for over an hour. They had a lot of information about this birthday party. And as we were discussing the whole situation, I said, at some point, if you're 80 years old and you're Vince, we got into a lot of things, but it was about Vince and being 80 years old. And I said, why doesn't he end the lawsuit, or why doesn't he do this? Because when you're 80, Vince, let's be honest, how much time do you really have left at a mental capacity or a physical capacity that you can really do anything that you want to do? And the person I was talking to, who worked for Vince for a long time at a high level, said, Coach, Vince believed he was going to live past 100 years old. He believes that he's going to be in this business for well over 10 to 15 more years. Vince, if that's the mindset that Vince McMahon has, then he is truly the person we always thought that he was.
Yeah, I believe that 1,000%. That does not shock me at all, Coach. I believe that wholeheartedly.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. So, and reportedly also he has a new girlfriend, and he was introducing the new girlfriend to a lot of people. And at the end of the day, we've seen a million different people, highs and lows, cancel culture, whatever the case might be. But Vince, if I'm 80 years old and I want to end the way that we always said that he would, I always said, hey, you're going to hear a story one day about Vince McMahon dying on the road at a WWE show. That's how we always thought it was going to end. And he's had 2 years away. And he's got to be going insane, Vince, sitting at home with $6 billion or more in the bank and doing nothing with it. Because, Vince, when we're done, Denzel Washington has a great line. He goes, there's a reason you don't see a U-Haul truck behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. So what is he doing other than birthday parties and these guys going and then putting them in a very difficult position if you're the likes of The Undertaker? And Vince, they're paying him almost $5 million a year in his Legends contract.
Yeah. I would have to assume, Coach, if, people knew him like we know him, he is planning and he is plotting and he's expecting everything to go down a specific way. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's what Vince McMahon is doing, and that specific way is his way. And he's got to be doing that, Coach, because we know how he is. You can only work out so many hours in a day.
That's exactly right.
What's he doing with the other 20 hours? We know he doesn't sleep. What's he sleep for? 4 hours? So take away the 4 hours of sleep and the 2 hours of working out. There's 18 hours left in the day. What is this man doing, Coach?
I always said that if I was worth that much money, I'd be awake all the time too. I'd want to see how great my life was. But one of the other questions I asked the person I was talking to is, why doesn't he settle the lawsuit? And they said to me, Coach, you know Vince's philosophy. If you settle one, they're all going to be coming down the pike. And I said to this person, but he's 80.
Right.
He's worth $6 billion. Let's say it's $50 million. They're like, well, she's going to ask for more. Let's say it's $50 million. Vince, if it's me, I want to get back in the game because I'm 80 years old. I don't care what the number is. I really don't.
Unless you're convinced that you're going to live to 100. Coach.
Yeah, I guess so. But even still, you got $6 billion.
Yeah, he's got 20 years left in his back pocket. He's gonna wait this thing out. Come on, man.
Oh my gosh, it is such a, not even a black cloud, because now with the struggles that we have, and the reason we talk about Vince from a business perspective is there's a lot of fans now, more and more every single week, Vince, that are saying, man, I'd love to have that back, where it's not always the right decision. And it wasn't always great storylines, but you always knew that he had the fan first and he was going to go with the hottest person. And that's the way that he did it. Now you don't know who's got their voice anywhere. When you got Nick Khan at the front of the line, and Triple H said in Unreal, didn't he? I had to call Nick Khan first. Vince, from a creative perspective, why would you ever call the president of the company that's had no history in wrestling whatsoever?
Coach, I swear to you, I watched that 4th episode of Unreal with the decision that John Cena is going to turn heel. So here's the hysterical thing about it. They're all putting each other over. You got the phone tag going on, and this line connects here, and this line connects. They're all putting themselves over to what turned out to be the most horrible decision in perhaps the history of the company. So they did that 6 months ago, and we're watching it now. But, Coach, here's what made me laugh. I'm watching this with this guy called this guy and this guy called Nick Khan and this guy. And I'm like, bro, are we deciding who's going to push the button for nuclear war? This is a wrestling angle, bro. This is a simple wrestling angle. The way these people were carrying on, Coach, you would have thought they were plotting to hit the button for World War III. Come on, guys. It's a freaking television show, for crying out loud.
Which is the whole reason why I don't know why they're involving him.
I don't either. I ask myself the same thing, Coach. Don't know.
At the PFL where I work, obviously, we have our CEOs, and they handle the business. And then when it comes to the creative, I kind of handled that when it comes to with our executive producer, with our director. But we never call them to go, hey, what do you think about this creative? It just kind of shows you where they're at in the pecking order. And we've talked about the financials. They released those. Nick Khan was right there. Triple H's name wasn't anywhere to be found. Dwayne Johnson's was.
Yeah.
The Rock's was. We're going to talk about him a little bit more coming up in 5 minutes. But Vince, right now, there seems like there's so many different voices. And when Vince McMahon was there, when he was in charge, it all stopped with him.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest difference right now.
That is the biggest difference, and something what you said a few minutes ago. Vince McMahon would have kept that foundation in place. Vince McMahon would have stuck to the fundamentals of professional wrestling. Maybe we change this, maybe we change that. You know, maybe we have a pitch clock. He would have done those things, but it would have remained solid.
I see a lot of kids out there. I see a lot of. I get almost sad when I see the John Cena farewell tour. He's one of my favorite human beings ever, and seeing what he does with these fans and these kids, and just going, well, this may be the last time that we see this moving forward because of a lot of things that are going on. But There'll be no more John Cena. There'll be no more Make-A-Wish, 500, all that kind of stuff, because it just doesn't happen with a lot of the new talent. All right, coming up on the other side, what does The Rock's weight loss truly mean, if anything, to the wrestling business? Coach and Bro, Afterburn, Stadium, Bally Sports Live. Come on back. All right, we continue on with you degenerates on our YouTube channel. You got a few more stickers to get to. By the way, for those of you watching on YouTube right now, Vince, producer man, has figured out a way. So right after the top of the hour, we can do our giveaway. We can do our giveaway here today. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Kalen Jingles. What is more profitable as a business? Art bringing in the business or bringing in big stars to drive money, Vince?
Art bringing in the business, or
I'm assuming they say like the art of wrestling, or bringing in big stars like Jelly Roll to drive money. What's more important, the art of the business or big stars?
I would say at this point, the big stars. I would say at this point, because it's the wrestlers are no longer larger than life. So you do need to bring in the big stars right now.
That is a good point. They don't make anybody like superstars like Rock used to be, and Batista and these guys. They're very accessible. And to me, Tom Cruise is not accessible. He's not accessible.
Exactly, Coach. Yes.
All right. So TYX25, your name is going to get into a drawing for a free piece of merch. I still got to figure out how we get you that. But hey, I always get out ahead of my skis all the time. Off topic, which legendary actor said this in his last movie before his death? For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. But thank you for the super sticker, and maybe you'll get a Mamby-Pamby t-shirt out of it. So there you go. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't either.
But hey, we're glad they're here. We're glad they're watching. And we're glad that you are supporting the show. Yes. So again, we'll do all of our super stickers. So send them in at the top of the hour when we're done with the stadium recording, and also do our first giveaway as well. But we have one more segment to get to, and we're talking about the great one and what it means with the latest reveal in Venice at the film festival. We're back live in just 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. The Coach and Bro Show here live on Stadium Bally Sports Live. We are available in over 100 million homes every single Thursday. Thank you so much. For those of you watching on YouTube, hit that like button if you haven't done it already. So, Vince, one of the big stories that came out of the world of wrestling this week was not even at Clash. Wasn't even on Raw. Wasn't even on SmackDown. It was The Rock and his shocking new appearance after being out of the limelight for the last 4 or 5 months. And there's a lot of questions I had, but I wanted to come to you because I value your opinion so much. He's in Venice at the film festival for his new movie, The Smashing Machine. And he got a 15-minute standing ovation.
Yeah.
He was super emotional. And they're talking about Oscar potentially for this movie. And there's a lot of different reasons it could be. But he's lost 60 pounds. And Vince, it's all in the last 5 months. When he was at Elimination Chamber, he was still jacked up Rock. I hope, full disclosure, he's not sick. I hope he's not sick. So if he's not sick, why do you think he decided to have such a drastic change? And how could that affect his future, if any, inside the wrestling ring?
Coach, I swear to God, they are blowing up my Twitter with this.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
This is why, Coach. This is why I'm a little dangerous being on Stadium. I don't know if this can fly with Stadium. I'm just being honest. I'm telling you what I'm getting all over my timeline.
You're always honest. That's for damn sure.
Coach, do you remember when Dave Chappelle disappeared for a couple of years?
Yeah, he had that $50 million deal. It overwhelmed him, and he left.
Allegedly. Do
Allegedly.
you know what a lot of people said when Chappelle came back?
No.
Oh, see, Coach, we're not in the same circles, Coach. I gotta smarten you up. Coach, there were a lot of people, including his good friend Jim Brewer. They were a lot of people saying, that ain't Dave Chappelle. I know Dave Chappelle. It doesn't sound like Dave Chappelle. The things he's saying, a lot of people said it was a clone. It was not Dave Chappelle. I'm getting these same things about Rock now. Vince, listen, he disappeared. We hadn't seen him. All of a sudden, we're seeing this guy now. That's what I'm getting, Coach. I'm just telling you what's out there, Coach. That's all.
That is the most ridiculous thing that I have ever heard in my life.
All right, Coach. All right. People know what I'm talking about with the Dave Chappelle. Somebody said right there that we're on Dave Chappelle number 3, Coach. Somebody said in the chat room.
All right. Maybe I'm the crazy one.
I would say this though, seriously, like the one thing it screams at me is he's not looking to get back in the wrestling business anytime soon.
That's where I landed too.
Yeah.
That's where I landed too.
Yes.
I thought to myself, okay, if he's doing this to me, he's doing this for his acting career. Because Vince, make no mistake about it, the Hollywood has changed. And I saw a big interview the other day about a bunch of A-list actors that are out of work, that are struggling financially because they refuse to try out an audition for movies.
Right.
But Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney, they're all in the movie game now. And so you've got to go and audition. These A-list actors won't do it. And I know Rock 20 years ago, because I talked to him about it, when he did his first, you remember Sean William Scott, how tiny he was?
Yeah. Yep.
And they told him, hey, you're way too big for Hollywood. You've got to get smaller. And he didn't do that because he kept coming back and coming back. I think now he's realizing, you know what? If I want to keep my movie career going, I've got to be able to be in all kinds of movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just action films.
Yeah.
But you can't be a 300-pound beast and then have a love scene with Emily Blunt, who weighs 110 pounds.
Yeah, and Coach, on top of that, knowing Rock the way we did, you know, he may also be challenging himself at this point of his career. You know how Rock was. I mean, he was never status quo. It was always the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Man, if he now wants to try out his dramatic chops and, you know, go down that road, as you see a lot of, you know, people change course throughout their career, I can definitely see him wanting to take on different roles like that, if not for anything, just to see if he could do it.
There's no question about it. And I had Dirt Sheet Dan look this up. And the new movie with Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio and Emily Blunt, they're still in the writing phases. So they haven't even started shooting that movie yet. So it would make a lot of sense because Leo is not a very big person. And for him to be in a movie with Leo, that's a really big deal. So I'm wondering if maybe he said, you know what, I got to fit in a little bit more over here because of DiCaprio. That could be it too. But the wrestling stuff is always in the background. And to me, the $40 million that he got paid to be on the board of directors, they don't just give you a $40 million check and say thank you.
Yeah.
They expect something out of it. So outside of the throat slash and Pat McAfee, Vince, we have not seen The Rock at all in 2025. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And Coach, he even has picked up his tweeting again a little bit, but it's not wrestling related. He has not tweeted, but he's tweeting about other things, but not wrestling at all.
It is. I would love to know. And if you really want to, you know, shoot something for Unreal, shoot this. Make us understand how they're all playing chess up here together with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. And all of us down here that love the business, that love The Rock, that love all this stuff and want the juicy details. What is really going on? Because the more months that go by, Vince, the more confused I continue to get.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why I would recommend everybody that says I would never tell you don't watch Raw, don't watch SmackDown. I mean, I wouldn't if I had a choice, but that's me. But I definitely would recommend WWE Unreal. Because, man, if you look at that show and read between the lines, I think you're seeing a lot of things, Coach, that they don't want you to see. And I think that's where, especially Rock was highlighted in the 4th episode. There's a lot of telling details in that show, man. A lot.
Producer man just sent me part of an article from the Hollywood Reporter. I know we only have a couple minutes left, but basically, here's one quote in that article. A lot of times it's harder for us, or at least for me sometimes, to know what you're capable of when you've been pigeonholed. And sometimes it takes people who love you and respect you, like Emily and Benny, to say that you can. Basically talking about spreading his wings.
Yeah.
Because for 20 years, it's always been about the action film. And so let me ask you this, because we only have 2 minutes left. Do you think Rock, because of this, has punted on his wrestling career outside of the very occasional appearance for Hall of Fame or something like that?
Yes. Yes, because how many years, Coach, does he have left to make a return and be in a peak condition? And you know he is not going to perform. He is not even going to be seen if he's not in peak condition. So the clock, in my opinion, has run out. A lot happened behind the scenes that turned him off. Mm-hmm. And I think now his sights are 1,000% on his acting career and taking it to the next level. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. I think that this decision was made based off of what happened in the WWE. And he said, if I'm going to be all in, he's 55, I think now. And I would love to see what he looks like with his shirt off right now.
Yeah.
To see how small or how big he still is.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to change his thought process on wrestling. I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
We only got 30 seconds left for you, Vince. What are you looking forward to this week on the Bro Down?
I just want to say real quick, Frank Pickle Barrels threw $5 our way, and he states, Coach is a clone. He hasn't aged in 25 years. Coach, you're a clone. You're a clone, Coach.
I'll take it. No wrinkles for this guy. No wrinkles for this guy. All right. We are here twice a week, once a week here on Stadium. Hey, call the exec. Say, hey, we need twice a week because we love this stuff. But every single Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, and then here on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Enjoy the football tonight. Enjoy the wrestling this weekend. We're always here for you. Subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. We thank you guys so much. For Vince Russo, for Producer Man, I'm the coach. This is the Coach and Bro Show, presented by Afterburn, here live on Stadium. Have a great day. But that does not mean we are done. No. We've got some super stickers to get to. If you guys want to have your voice be heard or have a question to read, it's got to be at least $5. If you want to get in on the giveaway of Mamby Pamby merch, it's got to be at least $10. Yeah, I'm a clone. I get that so much, Vince. They're like, Coach, do you ever age? I hope they say that when I'm 80.
Yeah, you don't.
But it's weird. I don't know how, but I'm certainly glad.
Yeah,
I'm certainly glad, All right, let's get into it. TYX, we know he's a part of the giveaway. Answer, Raul Julia for his kids, the original Street Fighter movie, was in pain during production, and Capcom is still making references to this day. By the way, did you see the picture? Speaking of Street Fighter, Cody's been off doing that movie, and now they have just written Roman out again. That part shocks me, Vince. He was gone for 5 months, comes back, he's red hot, and now he's going to be off again, Coach, to shoot Street Fighter.
I swear to God, I'm telling you, we got a glimpse into the writer's room on Unreal, and they got the white right boards behind them. They got those boards. Coach, I am telling you, this is all they're doing now. They're plotting out and timing out pops. That's all. We had the Rock pop. We had the Brock Lesnar pop. Now we had the Bella, Nikki Bella pop. Now we got the AJ Lee pop. Now we got the Liv Morgan coming back pop. Then by that time we should be 6 months down the road, and we got the wrong. That's all they're doing. I had a clip yesterday on castrating the marks. Triple H made castrating the marks because he's sitting there, Coach. I am not lying to you, and he made the statement, we are telling the greatest stories in the history of this business. And I'm saying to myself, bro, like, have you honestly convinced yourself of that? Or do you not understand what a story is? It's one of those two things. Coach, do you think for 1 second they consider these stories and think they're telling stories?
Yes, I do. First of all, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because right now they're living in a world where it's all about the dollar and not about the storylines. So they think, and they're going to be in this bubble forever, Vince, until they realize the two things are separate. You brought up on the show 1.1 million for SmackDown. That is a ridiculously low number for a network show like SmackDown. And if they don't look at that and say, we've got to be better with our storytelling, with our character development, with making our stars be around more. That's part of the issue, Vince. If you don't put stars on a show, then why would people watch? And I'm not just talking wrestling.
Yeah,
everything.
Absolutely. Everything. Absolutely.
We have a new, I do want to give a shout out to Shin0314. He's a new premium member today, Vince. Thank you, Shin. He has a couple of things. He goes after the Cody Travis Scott thing. The Rock's like, me, they shouldn't have made Cody heel like The Rock said. Yes, exactly, Mr. Russo. Nothing pertaining to wrestling. The Rock don't care. Shin, welcome. Thank you for being a premium member. Danimal, do you guys think Jericho is heading back to WWE, or do you think he will stick it out with AEW for the rest of his career? I think he's going back.
I would love him going back as the authority figure of both shows. That they could do so freaking much with his list and oh my God, I would love to see that.
I think they need an authoritative figure. Yeah. There's always been one. Yeah. And I think AEW desperately needs one. And somebody said, Coach, if Tony Khan called you to come back and do that role, would you do it? And I said to them, if Vince comes with me.
Oh, wow.
If you came with me, I would do that. I mean, I look at us as a team because we do two completely different things. But I'm a great authoritative figure. I always was. I was great GM. I did all that kind of stuff. And you can shoot entertaining skits, but they don't have anybody. So, for example, the other day at the beginning of Dynamite, they come out FTR and then Edge and Christian. Edge made the match, which is, I guess, the main event for All Out in Toronto. And I'm like, why is Edge making the match when it should be an authoritative figure? But why do you think they've never created one in AEW?
the answer to that is pathetic. You really want the answer to that?
I do.
Because Tony doesn't want anybody to believe anybody other than him calls the shots. That's
the answer.
Which is so freaking ridiculous, Coach. It's not even funny.
It's a show.
Yes.
It's so funny because these people get so wrapped up, and I think maybe this is why I've always been looked at as different. Because I was never like a wrestling guy. I had a great career in WWE, but my dream was ESPN, which I accomplished that as well. But to me, Vince, to sit if you sit back and go, what do I need? Taking your ego out of it, if you're Tony Khan, that would be the number one thing that I would add to the show.
Absolutely. And you know what's funny too is it's like with WWE, we got Pierce and Nick Aldis. And then I was reading before Paige went to AEW, the WWE, remember she got hurt and she wasn't wrestling. Mm-hmm. They wanted to give her a new contract as the authority figure. And I'm like, that's not an authority figure. Like, do they not even know what an authority figure is and what that person needs to represent?
Clearly not. And I will say this, that Um, and maybe it's because it's NXT, but you know who the authoritative figure is on NXT?
Isn't it Rock's daughter?
Yeah, it's The Rock's daughter.
Yeah.
And I would love for I think she does a nice job. I would love for her to work with an acting coach.
Yeah.
I think that both companies could use the investment of an acting coach coming in.
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%, Coach. 1,000%.
I always get I get wrecked by first it was the Bailey fan base, and then I was critical of Lyra, and I called her a JV player playing in a varsity basketball league. And right when I said that, somebody on Twitter goes, "Coach, they just booked her for Raw next week against Roxanne or Raquel." And I said, "And that changes what?" "Well, you said that you wouldn't be appearing on TV for a long time." I said, "So one match, one night." And Lyra's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. They put her in a program with Becky Lynch, and she is out promoted every single week to the point where she looks less than, and her in-ring work, Vince, doesn't matter at all.
No, not at all, Coach. Yeah. And I just, Kevin Nash said it, man, and Kevin opened up the floodgate. Kevin made the comment that Becky Lynch, wrestling has passed Becky Lynch by. And I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. I look at that roster and I look at the females on that roster and I look at the spot Becky Lynch is in, and come on, guys, she's in that spot not just based on her performance, and I think that's crystal clear, man.
Well, I also wanted them to take off. I liked the direction they were going with it, but I don't think to me, I like to look at everything and take the Intercontinental title off of her. It has no history on the female side anyway. And then give it to Natty or somebody that could use it and just have her be a part of this group. Because the other night when she came out dressed like Seth Rollins, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. But then she had the belt around her waist, the Intercontinental title belt, which, as we know, you've always taught us, it's a prop. It's not real. And fans understand whoever the world heavyweight, it's not real.
Yeah.
Right. It's a prop to make you look at a character in a certain light. That's what a belt is for. Mr. Icy 89. Where do you guys come up with these names? Maybe this entire thing is a work. Triple H crashes the product under the direction of Vince, making us think they hate each other. Vince returns as the savior.
They wish. They wish that was the storyline. Yes, they wish that was the storyline.
What if it was?
It's not.
Well, what if it was?
It'd be tremendous. It'd be absolutely tremendous.
Do you think, because we saw what happened with the late, great in-ring wrestler Hulk Hogan? He got booed out of the building when they thought he was going to get cheered like no other. What do you think the reaction from the crowd? Let's say they hit Vince's music as a surprise on Monday Night Raw. What do you think the crowd would do?
I think they'd go absolutely nuts.
I think they would too.
I'm telling you, man, I've said this a million times. They did not turn on Hulk until he started hawking the beer. That's when they turned on him, because at that point it became a blatant ad, and that's when they started really booing him out of the building.
Yeah. I wonder if they could have just put the beer on the corner turnbuckles, how that would have.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine put the big where the prime can is, put the beer where the prime can is?
Coach, I gotta share something with you if we're gonna be totally transparent with each other, because this has kind of been weighing on my mind since the beginning of the show, and I knew, God forbid, I would have said this on Stadium, but I could say it on the YouTube.
Okay.
And you may not look at me after the same, but we got to know everything about each other if we're going to go forward in this partnership.
I agree with that.
No secrets.
No secrets.
Coach, I woke up at 2 a.m. with a horrible, horrible stomach ache, back pain, horrible, clenching, tightening, horrible. Okay? 2 o'clock in the morning. So usually when that happens, Coach, I'm drinking gallons of coffee because coffee goes right through me.
Okay.
If you follow.
Understood. Understood. I follow. Yes.
Coach, 2 a.m, 3, 4, 6. I got a show at 7:30 with Al Snow. I still got this tremendous pain in my stomach.
Wow.
At this point, I've drinking 3 pots of coffee.
Oh God. So you can't go back to sleep at this
I
point.
can't go back to sleep. And Coach, you be proud of me, Coach. I usually work in. I every day I walk an hour at 6 a.m. I could not walk this morning. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. It was that bad.
Okay.
So all of a sudden now I start feeling very traumatic. Coach,
Traumatic?
I gotta share this with you and our people because you guys got to know Vince Russo is completely transparent. Yeah, very traumatic.
Oh my gosh.
Because, Coach, if the coffee isn't working,
Yep.
there's kind of only other one way. And Coach, you brought me back to my childhood. Coach,
Okay.
I want people to imagine this happening in 2025. Coach, I swear to God, when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, if I didn't poop in a 24-hour period, my freaking mother was shoving a plastic hose up my arse with some syringe gimmick with hot water, squirting this freaking water through the tube up my arse. If I didn't go to the bathroom in 24 hours, Coach, I had this done to me at 3, 4, 5, constantly. I had a plastic tube with some type of syringe being blasted. Can you imagine if parents did that to their kids? I swear to God, that's on my mind. The dreaded enema. The dreaded enema, Coach, is on my mind. I'm like, no, anything but the dreaded enema. No.
So for the last hour and 10 minutes,
yes,
you were thinking about an enema?
Yes, because is that the only solution? Coffee ain't working, Coach. I don't know what else to do.
I'm starting to think back to some of the questions that I ask you, and you normally never have one-word answers, but today you had a few one-word answers.
That's why, Coach. That is why. Bad memories, Coach.
Okay. I'm truly sorry, Vince, that you're going through this.
I appreciate that.
I think you do need the veggie hot dog, though. That might.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea, Coach.
I think you need to try that.
That is not a bad. I'm going to try it out right after this show. That is not a bad idea. Thank you, Coach.
Don't ever say that I did not help you with literally everything in your life.
That may help. Thank you very much, Coach. Yes.
All right. Before we get out of here, because I have a radio show I have to go get ready for. I want to see, producer man, how you're going to do this giveaway. Oh, look at that. All right. So
I love it.
Love it. So we had 4 people from Monday. We're going to throw the one person is from today. I think a lot of people felt like I was lying. I'm not lying. You see the merch to the right, the first ever Mamby Pamby t-shirt. If you guys buy one, send us a picture. We'll put it on the show. But this is a giveaway of a Mamby Pamby t-shirt.
Unbelievable.
All right. I don't know if there's anybody better than producer, man. I really don't.
Yeah,
I rave.
That's
He's
awesome.
amazing. He's amazing. All right. So this is going to spin. Oh, wait a second.
We got people now that people see it's real. They're seeing it's real. Now they want to jump on the wheel, Coach. Now they want to jump on the wheel.
Okay. So anybody that we can't change the wheel now because I told you guys, but we'll roll you in because Roland, you're already a part of it. You were a part of it from Monday. I believe Roland's already on there. All right. So now that you guys know it's real, we're going to do this on every single show. So a $10 super sticker or more, you get put in for a giveaway for our featured item of the week, which is the Mamby Pamby shirt. All right. So these are the 5 names. and anybody that puts in after this, you'll get rolled over into Monday. All right? Very first time, producer man, spin. No, the wheel.
Look at that. Wow, very professional. Very nice. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too. Who's going to be our first winner? Who's going to be? We get an explosion, and this is crazy.
Very nice.
All right, smartest mark alive. You get a Mamby Pamby T-shirt. Send me a DM on IG. We'll figure it out. But we have you down. Oh, there you go. Why do I question producer man?
Oh, there you go. He's got it all set up, man. He knows what he's doing.
That's exactly right. All right, smartest mark alive. Send us an email to that email address, and we'll get you all set up with your Mamby Pamby T-shirt. I love that.
That's awesome.
I absolutely love that.
Yes.
All right, so apparently Roland was not on there. So Roland, you'll be on Monday. A few more, and we're going to get out of here. Tom Brady 7 rings. Vince, why does the pay-per-view feel lifeless? In 2001, Vengeance, No Way Out had better matches than this era wrestle. Is it the wrestlers, the music? Okay, bad English, but I read it. I think it's pretty simple, Vince, that in 2001, you had 25 guys and girls that could main event pay-per-views. So even the first match on a pay-per-view was a banger. It was a banger. You could have Dudley Boys, Hardys, Edge, and Christian. That could be an opening match, which now would be a main event. I just think
why,
there's
Coach?
better talent.
Because here's what you're saying. Back then, it wasn't about the money. It was about the show. Today, it's about the money before the show. That's the difference.
That's it. It's simple. It's very simple. And I know that some of you maybe get tired of us saying it, but until it changes, that's the basis of what is going on here. It's all about the money. Roland Curtis, you will be on the wheel on Monday. I like that, on the wheel.
Yes.
About ESPN, I was shocked the day that I saw you hosting SportsCenter because usually employees leave WWE and it's downhill. At least Vince sidestepped to WCW before TNA and YouTube. I think that only Rock, Coach, and Cena went up after WWE. I wouldn't say that. I appreciate the compliment. But the tough part is you guys need to understand, when you leave like Vince or I did, at least it was for me, Vince, it was hard to get the wrestling out of my brain and out of my head, even when I was at ESPN. Was it hard for you when you stepped away from WWE?
Well, here was harder than that for me. You know, the way people outside of wrestling look at wrestling. Because, now, I'm a writer and I'm a producer. So now I'm going to start looking into LA. And to LA, they look down their nose at wrestling, that fake wrestling, guys in their underwear, yada, yada, yada. That's what I had to deal with, Coach, that made it difficult.
I dealt with the same thing, Vince. There was a guy, I won't say his name, but he's been in the news lately. He was an executive at ESPN. I had a 2-year deal. I don't know that I've ever told the story. I had a 2-year deal. I get a call from Nick Khan, who represented a bunch of guys at ESPN, a bunch. And he's like, hey, Coach, I think you have a lot of talent. I really like you. I would love to represent you as your agent. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm just trying to fit in the sandbox here. And he's like, let me negotiate the next deal. And then if you like it, you don't even have to pay me. You don't have to pay me till the next deal after that. And the person who was in charge at that time hated wrestling, hated it, did not want me there because of wrestling. We never met in person, never sat down, had a conversation. Maybe that was on me. But because of that, said person told Nick Khan, Coach is talking trash about you, which is the most ridiculous thing ever because I never met Nick Khan other than a phone call. Yeah. And why would I talk trash about one of the biggest agents in the world?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, and I didn't. And because of that, they offered me $60,000 less than what I was making at the time.
Wow.
True story.
Yeah.
And when Nick called me 4 days before my contract was up the day my son was born. The day my son was born. August 5th, 2010. It was a 60,000. I said, well, Nick, what are we going to do? He was like this. I don't know. It's take it or leave it. What do you want to do? And he was so angry on the phone. And I was like, why is he angry with me? And of course you have to take it because you only have 4 days. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Luckily, that person who was in charge, Vince, they move executives around all the time. It's like moving the chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah.
And they moved him out, brought another guy in who was super nice. I was the first meeting, and I said, look what just happened to me. And he was like, that sucks. He goes, I can't give you the $120,000. But what I can do is add 20 to every year moving forward. So I eventually got the money back.
Yeah.
But that's what I had to deal with.
Yeah. It's a real thing. It's definitely a real thing. Absolutely.
You know, so it is what it is. And I think a lot of people out there, I don't mind telling the stories now because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But people think it's like clear sailing all the time. And it's not. Even for the Rock and the Cenas of the world, they have to go above and beyond. Coach, what's your favorite WWE match you ever wrestled? I would say Royal Rumble was really a favorite of mine. I was in a Royal Rumble for 37 minutes.
That's crazy.
And I tell people all the time, it took legends to get me out of the Royal Rumble. Ric Flair eliminated me. The Big Show eliminated me. And I said, nobody less than that was going to get me out of the Royal Rumble.
Bro, let me ask you a question. During those 37 minutes, was there ever a moment or moments where you were like totally lost? That's a long freaking time to be in there, Coach.
It was. And basically what they tell you, because Michael Hayes puts the match together, and they tell you stay busy because there's the featured stuff in the Rumble that they work in. Yeah. And so that particular one, Edge, Jericho, and one other, I can't remember who it was, they decided, let's chop Coach as many times as we can get away with. I went back and watched the video, Vince. I took 37 chops. So when I got back to the shower, I was all proud of myself. Like, I stayed in there. There's only 5 people left when I got eliminated. I was that close to main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then it hit my chest, and I got snapped back to reality. It felt like just knives had just been across my chest. It was brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brutal. It's the worst. You wonder why people shave their chests and everything in wrestling? That's one of the reasons. You don't want that stuff in your hair. I promise you that. I promise you that. But I would say the Royal Rumble or Tajiri. Me and Eugene. I had a match with Hornswoggle. Remember Hornswoggle? Mm-hmm. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
People, I actually talked about this yesterday, Vince. People say, who was the stiffest? We were talking about Bronson Reed and all of his tsunamis. They said, who was the stiffest, tsunami or frog splash you ever took? I said, Hornswoggle. They're like, Hornswoggle? And I said, yeah, because let's say he weighed 130 pounds. He wasn't long enough, Vince, to get his arms and his legs to the mat. So all 130 pounds are landing on me.
That makes sense, man. That definitely makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But he was also my favorite guy to work with.
Yeah.
My favorite guy to work. He was the best. Hornswoggle was the best guy to ever work
awesome.
with. I think that's all we got right now. All right. So Roland, you're going to be added to Monday. Remember, so we'll do Monday now that you guys know it's real. And we have an email because Producer Man's the best. Every single show, $10 or more, you'll get a piece of Coach and Bro merchandise. Super cool, Vince. Mamby-pamby.
Mamby-pamby, man.
You
could be the first on your block, Coach. The first on your block. Yes.
Could be. Yeah. We're gonna be doing. This new store is awesome too. We can do giveaways around the holidays. We can do special stuff. It's gonna be awesome. It's going to be awesome. We've got a new young lady in charge of that, so we're excited to have her on board. So welcome to the team. All right, Vince, great job today. Enjoy your weekend.
I enjoyed it very much, Coach. I'm going to go eat myself a vegetarian hot dog right now, Coach.
I hope everything comes through okay, Vince. I really do. That's going to do it for today. Remember, we are here twice a week on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time live on Stadium, YouTube, and social media. And we thank you all for helping us grow every single freaking day. For Vince Russo, for Producer Man, for Dirt Sheet Dan, I am the Coach. We'll see you next time right here on the Coach and Bro Show.